What's going on, guys? It's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video, and it looked like the Indiana Fever is making roster moves to secure their playoff hopes. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy. Let's get it. Let's go. Well, in a shocking turn of events, the Indiana Fever made it their business to add Chole Bibby to their roster after beating the Las Vegas Aces at home last night. Now, we know news broke about Caitlin Clark potentially not coming back anytime soon. Now, before we get to going in and saying that she's going to replace Caitlin, I'm here to tell you that is not the case. Chole Bibby has only been signed to a 7-day contract. That's the part everybody's leaving out. If we pull up their 7-day schedule, man, they got to play the Sky, the Mercury, the Wings, the Storm, the Sparks, and the Mercury again. Yeah, I'm not seeing a real reason unless someone could be hurt. Now, we know Caitlin hurt. I don't know if anyone else is, but I don't get this move, guys. I really don't get this 7-day move unless they just don't have hope in Ari being able to close out or possibly get these next couple games, possibly. Now, she has been not shooting as well as she was when she first got here. Now, Chole Bibby is a certified shooter. This is the post that they released when bringing her on board. They stated, we have Chole Bibby to a 7-day contract. Welcome to Indy. And as y'all can see, she's there rocking a Fever uniform. But just like I said, man, I really don't get this move unless they just don't have hopes in Ari McDonald being able to pull this off. But at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. Your boy John Liquidator is currently on vacation, so some of the news stories might come out a little late. Some of the videos might get chopped up, put with another video. It's just how it is, guys. I'm on vacation. But get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this, man. Keep them bells on. And until next time, man, shake the haters off. Ref yesterday, and we found this clip right here, man, that has since went viral all over the internet. And I'm telling you right now, this is not a good look. Shout out to Heavens FX. He said the stuff the WNBA ignores then makes foul calls like this on Sophie Cunningham beyond comical. Caitlin will shoot 50 free throws a game if she got this whistle. Now, we know Caitlin Clark has not been seeing a promising whistle from the WNBA referees. And I'm telling you right now, it don't look like she will, man. Kathy has yet to address this. I've been saying this. I want to hear from Kathy, dog. Kathy is going to be the person that can get the job done with making sure these referees do what they got to do. And unfortunately, we have not heard from Kathy, dog. Not quick, fast, and in a hurry like we should have. One person stated the referees in the W, what a joke, embarrassing. They all call tic-tac fouls when you're shooting, but let you get mugged when you're dribbling. If they were consistent, it would be okay, as the players could adjust, but the players are saying they have not been consistent. Kathy needs investigation, man. I've been saying this. Kathy gonna have to do something, man. And it's sad that she has not said anything, but this is the nature of the business, dog. This is what we dealing with right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. Now, Stephanie White did have a situation during the game where she kind of like went off on referees, and I believe she received a technical foul for this. Let's pull up that clip. Shout out to Correlation, because she was the one that kind of captured the footage of that. But it was just not a good game, man. Forced the referees, and it's crazy because they actually won the game. You know, the Indiana Fever did win the game. Caitlin Clark was running on the court. Caitlin running on the court is kind of a promising sign that maybe her groin strain ain't as bad as everybody think it is. But at the end of the day, you just never know, man. Adrenaline is a hell of a thing, bro. But so this is the clip that was captured earlier with Stephanie White, and she said that's bullshit. She said it's just like that, man. I've never seen Stephanie White curse, bro. She cursed yesterday at the game, and she did have some things to say immediately after the game to these referees. Hopefully, she don't get fined, but let's check it out.
the stops they got on the end of the floor, and I know you've talked about slowing down runs. How much do you feel like those two things came in tandem today and led you to this win?
Yeah, they did in the second half. I didn't feel like we did that in the first half to end quarters in particular, but our defense can't be dictated by our offense. It has to be the other way around. We had some lapses into first quarter. We had some lapses into the second, and we can't have those. We've got to maintain elite execution on both ends. I thought the second half the ball moved better. Look, there's no defense for turnovers that lead to scores, and I think they had 13 points off of turnovers in the first half. We did a much better job of taking care of the ball, and that's our first line of defense, and we did a much better job of that in the second.
Kelsey tonight, not the most efficient night, but still an impactful night, and especially in that fourth quarter. Is there any kind of message you need to say to her, anything that we still need you to keep shooting and keep going or anything like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just telling her, like, let it fly. It's going to go. And then helping her recalibrate when she's attacking the rim and to staying on balance. I thought there are times where she's taking a lot of contact and she gets off balance and she goes off of one leg instead of off two, and just really reiterate to her, particularly in those moments, to go off of 2 feet, stay balanced, go strong to the rim. That's when she makes her best reads and her best decisions, and then to keep shooting it from outside. She made some big ones when we needed them.
About the point of attack defense for you guys individually, it seemed like everyone kind of the best they could owned their matchup and made things, like you were saying, very difficult, especially there late in the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're a tough team to defend. I mean, Jackie Young is one of the best one-on-one players. Obviously, Asia and what she brings to the table, Jewel as well, and Dana Evans is fast and gets downhill. And we really challenge their pride, their individual defensive pride. You got to guard your yard. You got to guard your matchup. We got to guard 2-with-2 in the pick and roll. We've got to do a better job of locking into that consistently. And I felt like individually, for the most part, we held true to that. There were still some breakdowns for various reasons, but I thought we did a much better job, and we got better tonight.
I know you've talked a lot about consistency, stacking days. Just what you guys need to do these next couple days leading into Chicago to keep that consistency.
I mean, we have to just understand the urgency and attention to detail that it takes. We don't have the luxury of having breakdowns, of having lapses. We have to understand the sense of urgency that it takes with each possession. One possession can change a ball game. And we got to understand and value that. And also, we played some heavy minutes tonight. And the challenge is, if you're tired, you got to ask for a sub. Right? If you're tired, you got to ask for the sub. And then our bench has to be ready. I felt like our bench in the second half was really good defensively. In the first half, I didn't feel that way. You got to be ready to come in, and you got to be ready to guard your matchup and execute the game plan. We have depth for a reason. We've got quality depth, and we've got to be able to use it. So if fatigue is a factor in execution, then they just need to ask for a sub, and I'll get them out and get them back in.
We've talked about Ari a couple times this season already, but what's it say about the confidence she has, confidence that you guys have in her to knock down that big shot at the end of the game?
Yeah, I mean, Ari's been big for us. She really has, and I really challenged her in that second half, in that fourth quarter, to be the floor general that we needed, to set the tone, not just offensively but defensively. We were in incorrect pick and roll coverage one possession, and that's a point guard's responsibility when they're on the floor to make sure that we're in that. And she takes ownership of that, and I felt like in that moment, and she struggled shooting the ball in the last game against New York, and she was in there after practice getting extra shots yesterday. So she's putting in the work. She understands momentum. She understands timing. She understands the flow of the game, and that was just a big shot. And she shot it with confidence. There was no hesitation, and that's what I want to see.
When it comes to the momentum swings and getting too high, too low, and allowing things to snowball, I guess, just as a coach, is there anything you can do to try and stifle that or control that, or is that something that it's largely up to the players to kind of sort through and figure out themselves? Yeah,
I mean, we can't control that. We can't control anything like that. I mean, the biggest thing is just reiterate to them to stay neutral. Reiterate that this is a game of runs. We've got to shorten theirs and we've got to extend ours. To encourage when we need encouragement and to get in them when we need to get in them. And that's just learning to have a feel for those moments. And I felt like we did a better job tonight of when we needed to get stuff. I didn't feel like that. at that stretch into first, into the early second quarter, didn't feel like that, but we regrouped, and I felt like we did a much better job in the second half, and we grew. We got better.